Not enough people give credit to these, all right? You go out right now, if you do not own the $30 set, sometimes on Mass Drop for 20 of KOS KPH 30Is, you're doing yourself a fucking disservice. And I've ruined my pair with a heat gun, and I removed the strap, and I made them looser clamping, and then I changed to thicker pads because I stream with these. 6 hours. 6 hours straight. And you know, I only usually listen to people talking on them. So if I have a chance to sit down and actually listen to music on a stack, and we have to figure out a name for this stack because this is Topping's stack. I've already reviewed the A50 along with the P50, and this video, as the name below in the thumbnail would indicate, is the D50s. They ruined it with the S. They ruined it with the S because it would have been A50, P50, D50, done. A50, P50, D50S. It doesn't, it's girl interrupted. So, whatever this stack is called, whether it's the ADP stack or the DAP stack, which would be really confusing, or the pad stack, I don't know. You guys can figure out all the anagrams. You can make a PAD. This is pretty fucking amazing. It also weighs as much as I would imagine that golden idol from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. No, wait, no, that wasn't Temple of Doom. That was just that wasn't Last Crusade. What's the first one? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Boom. This is the one from Raiders when he's like weighing out that bag of sand. Like this. This was the ideal weight thing. He should have traveled to the future, gotten one, and then placed it down instead of the golden idol. Because just the DAC alone weighs half a kilo. Actually, it's a little more than half a kilo. And I've already stated how much the Topping A50 weighs, and the P50 is a giant linear power brick. So you can just imagine. And you can see they're nice and together in like a complete stack because Zeos owns stock in blue tack, or in this case, white tack. And we're going to have to yank it apart so you could see it. I just wanted you to get that flavor. And I did request this to be silver. It was sent to me by Apos Audio. They're the link I'm going to use in the description. And Apos' site is actually pretty solid when it comes to like buying audio gear, which is what they do. So we're going to use them. But I got it in black. So it kind of looks like a reverse Oreo cookie. And I'm somehow tempted to go and make one of those now where you get sticky cream on your fingers and you bite into a cookie. I digress. The stupid white label is every topping has it, and I hate it on every topping. And here's the thing, when you peel it off, which you can do because it's plastic, there's another quality control sticker. Scavengers the rest of the goop. There's another quality control sticker under it, which I don't mind the QC past ones, but still, why topping? Why? Let's disassemble this beautiful fucking stack. I should probably point out I'm using these. These are the world's best cables. These are the short ones. And since this is the distance you have to go, and this stack is so small, like this stack is so small, I kind of wish they made a perfect bridge that just like, oops, but these don't line up perfectly, so I'd have to like deal with that. I don't have to disconnect it. I just have to yank it apart. So we do have silicone feet on there if you wanted to try to get it to just stack properly. But it's not gonna. Everything is so small, and if you put the headphone on top, it just shifts and to get the perfect lines. So I'll peel off my my white tack. There we go. Zeos knows all the tricks. You could even shove this stuff underneath a light switch. If you don't want someone shutting off a switch, shove a big ball of this under there. And we'll take it off the linear power supply as well. That can stay tacky. So anyway, this is what we are discussing today. I'm gonna roll this around. I'm gonna roll this clean. That's another reason I like this, because if you use Velcro with adhesive, it's just gonna be bad. But this, you just, give it a couple rolls. Links to white tack in the description. Links to all of these in the description. It's Friday. I should release a cooking video. It's gonna say it again. Hey, it didn't. Nope, there it goes. Anyway, I should release a cooking video. Topping D50s, and why the S is there. I think there was a topping D50 and they just had to delineate this. So it's a very, 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 and I'm going to shut it off so I can disconnect it. See you, but not Space Cowboy. It's a very, very small and honestly basic deck. I mean, you can't do much except for stick not only a high-res audio sticker, but a high-res audio wireless sticker on it. Again, it's got the weight to impress anybody who picks it up. Front, power. We got a screen. We got a... There's been racing tractors through my town. You've got a metal joystick, which is actually a little bit loosey-goosey, but I mean, you still like, you get to the point, it's like click, click. I feel like I should be controlling some sort of 80s video game with this. That's it for the front. The back. Your left and right out, RCA only out, and we've come through a point in history where I've gone from needing everything balanced, everything on earth has to be balanced, to, you know, maybe you don't need first of all, the DAC in the amp in this, the amp in this is a balanced amp. You have a 2.5 millimeter. Again, I wish it was a 4.4, but it's only RCA input because the amplifier itself is still designed to be balanced. It's got two halves and they leave it fully balanced for the 2.5 and then they combine the grounds for the other section, but it's still a balanced amplifier. Having a balanced DAC is a lot more about transmission. It's about not using RCA and using XLR. Because XLRs have 3 conductors and it does a high-low voltage bias. It's a thing. I don't want to get into it because honestly I can't describe it as well enough. And I'm thinking with the numbers we're seeing, with THX being a thing, and the numbers we're seeing as far as distortion and imperfections, balance is going to become less and less important, which actually is a good thing. There's still times and places for balance. If you have balanced, I would say get balanced. But things like the SMSL SP200, that THX amp, which I have in my closet and I should have brought out, the one that's slightly skewed, that has balanced inputs, RCA inputs, and balanced outputs and single-ended outputs. But the whole unit's single-ended. It doesn't need to be, they give you those as a convenience because the one of the reasons you would do a balanced output and a balanced input is the total harmonic distortion numbers get lower as you separate it out. You have the nut. But THX tech, things that are that clean, things that are this clean, things that are, well, I'll even say this clean, they don't need the help. So why complicate things and why make things huge? So you get RCA outs only, coaxial in, optical in, USB in, full size. Here's your Bluetooth antenna, which is a little loose for my liking. I may have to get a screwdriver to that, but it does stand up. And it comes with a 5-volt DC transformer, but I've got the crazy P50, so I'm just going to use this. The way this linear power brick, let me shut that off too, comes, in case you're wondering, you get the full 110 AC in there. It gives you 2 5-volt USB outputs, 1 amp, and then it gives you a 15-volt 1 amp. And that one's specifically for the A50 amplifier. The DAC doesn't need that much power, so I think this came with this unit. Or did it come with this unit? You get this. If you're buying any of these units, you're going to get a USB to around 12 millimeter, and that's so you can do this, and then you can do this. I'm going to plop this back here. We're actually going to retire the A50 for a bit because it gets in the way of my beautiful review style. Plug you back in. And you could use one of those crazy, I will link if they're still available, those W audio power cables, the ones that are like $28 and look like they're for plugging in the equivalent of a 40,000 kilowatt stove, like forge iron. I'll link one of those because that would look cool as hell coming out of here. Optical input is what I'm using. USB input is probably the way you're going to want to go with something like this, because it's just, you're going to keep it simple. And I'm going to plug in here as my output, my THX 789. which is, do I have to prove the THX789 to you? I fucking think not. So let's see, we gotta flip up the linear power supply. I kind of wish that if I shut the linear power supply off, the other ones would come off and on, kind of like the Panda Stack did. If you don't know what the Panda Stack is, don't worry, it's before your time and they haven't sold it in forever, and this destroys it. I gave my brother the Panda Stack because it was too pretty, and I love the glass fascias, and you turned on the linear power supply, and the other ones went on sequentially, and it remembered it was all digital volumes and buttons and everything. So now my test headphones go here. That gets pulled out. We lower it, turn it on, and here we go. So obviously you don't need this linear power brick. You could use the one that comes with, and I'd probably be absolutely fucking fine with it. I couldn't even hear a difference in the amplifier linear versus the little Chinese one they sent to you. Like, it made no difference. I'm so used to wearing these headphones, by the way. I could just talk just normal. So the actual DAC comes with a remote control and has the ability to swap out op amps. So that's where we're starting. Actually, I should have, before I plop this back down, I should have shown. If you pop open the bottom of this, you can swap op amps. I'm not going to do that right now, but it is capable of doing it. That is also a possibility on the FPGA Own X8 Magic DAC, and it is done on my X-Duo XDO5 Plus. Those all have swappable op amps. And basically what this is the brain that tells the DAC what to do and deals with the amplifier section. So it's upgradable. Here's an example. Here is the, oh, I'm never gonna get this out, am I? Here's the one that comes by default in the X-Duo. And it's got like 8 pins, and it looks all right. It's that little thing. And here's the Burson ones that I got on Massdrop. And I'll link to these in case you want to swap out. And it just automatically in a like a heat shrink shield and everything. And I think I paid $40, $30. More than a little bit, but not like a lot for these op amps. And the thing about it is, when you're buying a unit, like a complete unit for $250, one of the things they don't want to charge you an extra 10 for is a super much better op amp or an op amp that does a different sound. So they just put in whatever, and it's good enough. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's fucking solid. But if you ever wanted to upgrade, that's one of the things that usually companies are not going to spend a ton of money on. But they tell you can upgrade it, so that means they know you're a tweaker. So stock op amps, RCA out, we're into this. This is the smallest DAC you can buy. I mean, I have this Gustard here, this DAC A22, and it's like $1,000. And that's the state of like audiophile DACs, is they're the size of PlayStation 1s. PlayStation 2s? But it was a thick one. It kind of looks like a PlayStation 2. Xbox? An original Xbox. Xbox One. I don't know. I haven't played with a console in years. They're huge. And that one's $1,000. And it's balanced and it has a remote control. So this one's tiny. And is not balanced and has a remote control. And I'm gonna bet when I review that Gustard, if I were to pull this topping out and blind test myself with whatever headphones on whatever amplifiers, I'd be hard pressed to find the actual monetary reason to spend 4 times as much and have it be like, I don't know, 17 times the volume of this adorable little thing. So where you're going to probably find this the most is if you're using on a desk. Again, you don't need a linear power brick, so you can make it real small. And if you're using it with powered monitors, because since it has a remote, you can raise and lower the volume. I mean, you could legitimately, here's a scenario. You're an audiophile and you happen to own a television. Many people apparently do that now. I was unaware. But if you wanted to, say, control the volume of what's coming out of your TV through powered monitors, and you just wanted a DAC, like the SMSL SU8 is available, And that has balanced outputs, which might be easier to hook up for long distances. But look how small this is. You could literally tuck one of these under your television, RCA out into whatever speakers you want, and then plug in your fiber optic. And then you also have Bluetooth, which is something the SU8 doesn't have. And you got a full remote to turn it on and off and switch between. I should talk about the remote real quick because I was confused because I get one remote and I see it's got lots of buttons. And I'm wondering, well, what does this button do? What about this one? What about this one? What about this? Nothing. The manual for this remote literally says power, mute, volume up, volume down, next input, last input, invalid, invalid, filter settings, auto on off, invalid, invalid, screen brightness. So this one, this one, this one, this one are invalid buttons. So you just have to know that they don't do jack shit. And it's okay. I just wish they wouldn't. I'm kind of glad that most companies have gone with these like generic remotes that are not garbage. It doesn't feel bad. It takes AAA batteries. And I can sit here and I had the volume real low. And it comes up at let me try to get the actual screen. 37. It does half decibel increments, by the way. And you can see like 30, 25, 20, 16, 15, 8, 7, 0, 0, -5, -10, -20, -30, -40. It's got an actual pace. Unlike the much more expensive Topping D90, Topping, you make both of these. Why can you get the pacing of the volume right on this, but not on the D90? Not in the one that's like 3 times the price? Oh. That's, by the way, the Blade Runner soundtrack that I've got just repeatedly playing in these amazing KPH-30Is. Why don't you own a set? Would the owners of KPH-30Is, please, in the comments of this video, so I don't have to make another video, tell people why they need to own KPH-30Is, because they hit so far above their fucking weight class. Like they're not a $30 headphone that sounds like a $60 headphone. They're a $30 headphone that sounds like a $500 headphone. Like legitimately competes in sound enjoyment with like Sundaras. My 2000Xs, they fit on my wall. I should have a set on my wall. It would just look stupid, so I haven't done it. And I use them constantly. I melt them so they fit even more perfectly. It's like, I lowered this, didn't I? God almighty, that's Blade Runner. And that's Epic Score. So how does it sound? Let's just get the sound out of the way, because honestly, if I'm telling you that in the future, when I'd review like $1,000 DACs, if I reference this, I wouldn't be able to tell a difference. I wouldn't be able to tell a difference. It's clean. It's pure. It has no anomalies in the sound. It has filters that you can choose. And unfortunately, for all of us, it just says mode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just modes. You can access a menu by slightly pressing that down. Not one press. Actually, is it just one press? Yeah, it is. And then you can navigate, and you have filter modes, display brightness, auto on off, Bluetooth on off. I have the Bluetooth currently off. And then factory reset. So that's it. You get 4 options and a reset. The display, PCM441, tells you the volume, tells you which input. You have 4 inputs. It literally lights up just opticals currently inputting. It will handle DSD if you're a DSD person. Again, I could ask, are you a DSD person? What drove you to such madness? Was it just you had so much space and so much money and you only like 17 particular tracks? I don't get it. I don't get the DSD yet. I'm sure in 10 years, we'll all look back at this and laugh as every phone is just crammed to the gills with DSD streaming apps. I'm sure of it. I'm not sure of it at all, actually, but I'm going to make that point. So DACs very, very rarely are magic. We'll get to that. But they're very, very rarely magic. And at this price point, at $250, you have to assume you're paying for a lot of the other features too. So maybe it competes completely. Maybe there's a $100 DAC out there, like the I don't know, what's a $100 DAC? What's a good $100 DAC? Or even the Shelly's like 170 now. The M100, SMSL M100. Maybe it sounds exactly like that, which it doesn't. It sounds a little better. But even if it was only the quality of a $100 DAC, you're looking at the build of a solid aluminum block that weighs half a kilogram. You're looking at it has Bluetooth. You're looking at it has a screen, a nice control, and a remote. And that's easily taking it up to $250. And then it still sounds better than $100 DAC. So it's a buy. It's a buy. Now, when I'm going to be doing some powered monitors in this desk soon. And usually I will whip out like a weird volume control and run the thing with I'm just going to plop this little tiny thing on top of one. I'm going to run fiber optic into it. I'm going to run RCA out and RCA out. And I'm just going to be able to control the volume with this super easy, barely an inconvenience. Damn it, I'm starting to reference other YouTubers now. This is terrifying. I got to stop watching YouTube so I don't absorb all their quirks and features. Fuck. Go away now. Although he needs to give Westworld a better shot. I know 2 is garbage, but 3 has a chance to be good. I want 3 to be good. Jesse Pinkman's in it. This is a good DAC. It doesn't blow my mind like it hasn't elevated like the whole genre of DACs. But if this is an indication at what is capable of coming out for $250, which sounds like a lot, but I do this shit all day, and if you've ever been to a show, like a real show, like an Axpona or an RMAF, and you've ever listened to those people talk about the DACs and the $10,000 DACs and the $10,000 power conditioners, and that's the low end of their models. The fact that this $250 one could probably shit all over them is probably a good way that the world should be heading. I'm happy about this. I wish it was in silver so it matched everything, but you know what? When I'm doing like speaker reviews or anything, because I'm probably going to detach this from its power mama, take out the actual regular transformer, or put a USB extension on this one I need to use it on my desk, because this power supply is going to stay here for running things. And I'm absolutely going to be satisfied with how it sounds. No matter what. Like, I'm running, you can't ask for a more critical test than a THX amplifier and headphones you ultimately respect, playing music you absolutely know, and then listening to a DAC. Again, I can't tell the difference between the filter settings. I can't. Can anyone tell me of a specific DAC that even with a very specific song on a specific amp, you can tell the filter settings from brick wall to low phase linear to high linear phase to moonstruck to whatever fucking other weird filter. Can anyone hear the difference? Or am I just bad? Maybe I just can't hear. Maybe I should just quit. Time to quit, Zeos. You can't hear the difference between DAC filters. Amateur. Whose chopper is this? Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Yeah, no, I take no issue with it. And I think if you're looking for a small form factor remote control DAC, the remote control is bigger than it. This is it. This is where you stop. Because SU8s last year, we've got those new amps. There isn't quite anything that's going to accomplish what... Like, there are DACs with remotes. All of them are bigger. So honestly, if you're looking for build quality and size and sound quality on top of that, this is it. Diz it. Where you at? Diz it. That's from the Northeast. That's a different thing. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I'm going to put this back in either in the rack or in the closet. I love these cables. My God, they're so fucking sexy. They're expensive, but they're sexy. I'm okay with that too. Like, oh, you overbuying cables, Zeos, buy the cheapest ones. I have those $10 ones over there. I'll link to the $10 cable and a link to the world's best cable. And either one of them will sound fine. It's just that these are sexy. Oh, they're flexy, so sexy. Look at that. Oh, God. Anyway, I'm done talking about this now. I'm actually starving, and I'm probably going to go kill an animal and eat it, but not Chewbacca, Who has not come in here to fart today? I don't know. That's your favorite part, you guys. Either way, link to this on APO's site. Link to this wallpaper in the description. I went with the black school dress Megumine because she's got sort of like this black white thing going, and it was like, oh, that's gonna match the stack. You could also just put, by the way, like a cock ring around this whole thing and it'll hold it perfectly fine. Or glue it with fucking rubber cement. It's fine. So that wallpaper in the description links to everything I've reviewed and talked about, especially these and Dakoni Nuggets, Zeos, future Zeos, Dakoni Nuggets, which you don't need to do this. This is just me trying to avoid it holding down the GoPro strap while I'm wearing it while live streaming. This has been specifically Zeosed. You don't need to do this, although everyone should remove the cable and make a removable cable mod. So headphones, amps, DACs, Hi-Fi Guides, Hi-Fi Guides forum. So here's Hi-Fi Guides. If we go to headphone sources, I don't think this is in here yet. I haven't added it. So we want a desktop DAC that's a solid state. Is it here? Yep, there it is, topping D50. Boom! There's actually, look how many. Let's lower the price down. So we're looking at like a $300. And I think we need to add a balanced, unbalanced option to this because we currently don't. Oh yeah, we do. We do have a balanced option. So I don't want balanced. Now you're left with 6 results. Caddis tone board, SMSL M100 for 80, Mini DSP HD, this topping D50, the JDS Labs OL DAC, which is down there, currently powering this, and the topping D10. So it is the most expensive of the group, and if you don't need Mini DSP's thing, it's the only one to choose. And if you wanted a balanced version, and not an unbalanced version, Grace SDAC, SMSL M300, SMSL SU8, and Enog 2 Pro. God, I love Hi-Fi Guides. This is site run by DMS and myself. We put all the equipment we like. This is the ones that are out of your price range in case you want those same options, but want to spend a little bit more in case you just like are $10 off when you slider. And as far as Hi-Fi Guides, the forum, yeah, everything's site feedback. I don't want to read that. Do-it-yourself speaker amps. There's no categories. If anyone's doing any DIY, we just added a DIY section. So there's official threads for headphones, official threads for almost every product that's on this channel. And then we have the DIY section and the music talk section, and the off-topic section is pretty insane right now. What's your wish list? What's your wish list? How'd you get into this hobby? Share your grievances and not audio things. Apparently, I'm a static electricity generator. That's a good thing. I like cheese. Do you? I love cheese. I'll have to sign in. I gotta sign. I'm not signed in on this computer. Anyway, there's the D50 thing and things, and wallpaper, and Patreon and subscribe star. Shit, I forgot to do that. So those 2 supportive services run this channel. I've already sold the black A50 on the yard sale, and I'm probably, maybe in the future, maybe I might sell this D50s if another DAC comes along with a remote control. Because as much as I'm pointing at this X8 Magic DAC, which Zeos will find a link for, it's it. There it is. Volume knob in the front. You're done. So it's like, this is so much more. So the Patreon subscribe star, $5 a month. You see all these reviews early. You get to ask me any question you want on platform. You get into the yard sales from the 1st to the 10th. I pay for shipping in the continental United States, half shipping internationally. I just shipped something to fucking New Zealand. Was it New Zealand? Oh, no. Tasmania. It cost me $138, which means it's going to cost the owner $69. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I mean, I'm willing to pay $69 if you're willing to pay $69 to get some headphone amps to Tasmania. So that's how the yard sales work. You bid an off-kilter number and whatever. The $10 tier gets you to the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, where people know everything I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and we talk about everything. Like, those are a great bunch of guys and some girls. And beyond the $10 tier are the 15, 30, 75, 150, whatever. Those will all be used eventually to do a hardware swap box for a very limited amount of users, so that if you want to borrow some stuff, it'll go from house, getting infected to house, getting more infected to house, someone spit in it, and then you could have some. to play with. I'm sure they'll be a little bit more respectful of it than that. But that is the goal, is to have people at a high enough tier that I'm willing to ship some stuff that's not being used and stored in closets and things to you to try. So yeah, look out for that. Look out for that. Look out for that. She's going to fall. I'll see you tomorrow. Right? Right.